Okay guys, this is another video I'll make about my opinion of we have to stop glorifying faces. What I mean by that. There are a lot of TV shows and articles and prominent newspapers who are doing these top 100 influencers, top 100 whatever important people, women, men, whatever. Every year, Time Magazine, top 100 list, etc., etc., etc. And it's very interesting that we glorify faces, and even though we know that those faces are not really responsible for the achievement that they are claiming. Just a few examples. If you look at those faces like Steve Jobs with the iPhone, have you heard about the great Apple engineers? Because I am an engineer and I haven't heard about the famous Apple engineers. I heard if you task and if you say, you go to the street and tell people what was the first thing that came to your mind, comes to your mind in regards to Apple, they will either say iPhone or they will say Steve Jobs. I think these are the two things that are most likely. But you're not going to meet anybody who tells you, oh, Apple engineers are amazing. They design beautiful things. And I'm not even talking about IT engineers, by the way. I'm talking about who are designing the aesthetics of the iPhone. The Apple products looks amazing. I'm not even talking about technically how they work or if they are good. By the way, they are good. But most importantly, they are the shape of the phone, the simplicity, the design of the phone is just unbelievably nice. So my thought about this is that we glorify Steve Jobs for building the iPhone, and it's just nonsense, and it's a huge offense to those people who actually designed the iPhone. And they put in hundreds and thousands and 10,000 of work hours of attempts and failing products, and version A, B, C, and X at the end. And Steve Jobs was the guy who at the end just went on the stage and said, okay, this is what we did. And people associate iPhone with Steve Jobs because of this, but actually it's Steve Jobs is as related to the iPhone's manufacturing process as you or me. They were not at all. It has nothing to do with Steve Jobs. Probably if Steve Jobs can do something, that he can threaten his employees, and he knows how to exploit people properly. Probably that's his achievement. I'm not saying he's not a visionary, and I'm not underestimating the fact that you have to have a good leader, you have to have a good visionary. But at the same time, if I have to point one or two person who's responsible for that specific achievement, Steve Jobs would definitely be not on that list. And by the way, I think that a good leader should not take the credit for any of the achievements. He should pass it on to his people. But I really don't see this at any leadership today. If there's a credit if there's a credit to celebrate, then people are usually first in the line. It doesn't matter. That's just human nature, right? We like to benefit from everything we can. And okay, so if you think about Steve Jobs and iPhone, it's a joke. Obviously, it's not made by Steve Jobs. It was not designed by Steve Jobs. It's not a good product because of Steve Jobs. If you think about the Amazon, like the success of Amazon. Amazon is one of the biggest companies in the world today. It's not really. By the way, again, have you heard about the Amazon salespeople, the Amazon engineers? Have you heard about the Amazon hands and feet people? Those who are actually working in the warehouses, and they pee in bottles. But we just read an article like can't even go to pee because they lose their job and stuff. No, you really don't. If you think about Amazon, you think about Jeff Bezos and his success story, right? Again, which is one common thing with Steve Jobs, is that what Jeff Bezos is amazing at is how to exploit his people. That's where he's the best. But we still celebrate him and glorify him. So this is not really nice. One more example of this, Elon Musk. Like they know Elon Musk and the SpaceX rocket. You think Elon Musk built that SpaceX rocket? You think Elon Musk knows the physics of rocket engineering? You think he knows the financial details of it? Or he has an amazing crew who do everything to run SpaceX to success, and he's at the top of it because he owns the company. Because I think that's the case. I really cannot credit Elon Musk. Elon Musk is a brilliant performer. He has a stage presence. He has a certain attitude that people enjoy. By the way, I don't think if he would not be a billionaire, people would listen to him uh, as much as they do now. So it's interesting that money makes people's opinion more valuable. Mm. Okay, so again, Elon Musk, Steve Jobs, and by the way, if you hear about the Tesla workers, they are not really particularly happy. So probably, probably Elon Musk is one of those who I just mentioned before, who knows how to take advantage of his workers. Still, we call Elon Musk the genius of our century. We call him the Iron Man. We call him the man who changed the world. Well, it's actually not true. Like the engineers who work for him might change the world. Typically, in this world, if you're a genius, then most likely you're going to die alone and poor. So this is the truth. So if the Iron Man, if Iron Man portrays a successful businessman, then absolutely, hands down, it's a if you're a good businessman, you'll be a billionaire, and you will appear to be successful. But if we think more of the Iron Man, if you think about the mental capacity, if we think about the vision, if we think about the morality, if we think about the 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 capability of thinking for the future and doing things right, then it's or even doing something brilliant, then it's not Iron Man. Iron Man. If so, these are just successful businessmen. And the interesting thing is that with all the achievements that their hundreds, 10,000 employees doing for years, all their achievements, we give credit for that one face, which is bizarre. We shouldn't do that. I don't think this is healthy. In many ways, it's unhealthy because young people will look at these people and they will think, okay, I can achieve that. I can create the next iPhone, which is like, I don't think so. It's it never comes down to one single person to create such an amazing product. It comes down to thousands of people and years and years and years of work and probably decades of experience. So it's a false advertisement if you think about it. So again, yeah, this video to me is about stop celebrating, stop glorifying. And by the way, that's true for presidents as well. If you think decisions are made by a single individual, you are delusional. There are unbelievable amount of people in the background who's doing actual work, and they are professional. They are putting in the hours to do the research, to evaluate all the possible outcomes, and they combined, and at the end they probably present two options, oversimplifying the case to any president who will decide, okay, it's option A or option B, and then people will just go crazy, like, oh, we have such a smart president. Yeah, I don't think so. Like, okay, any children can choose from option A and option B, right? To get to that point where you can actually oversimplify a complicated and global crisis to an option A, option B. Well, that's kind of a genius thing. But at the end, just pushing red button or green button is something that even DD can do from Dexter. Okay, guys. So that was it for now. I just wanted to have my opinion on why we celebrate faces and why we glorify faces for achievements of thousands and even more of work, of years of work. I don't know why we do that. So we should stop doing that, and we should celebrate, and we should glorify those who are actually doing the work, the engineers, the hard workers, the salespeople, the marketing team, the small people like you or me. Yeah, these are my thoughts for today about glorifying faces. Don't do that. Stop it. It's not good. By the way, one real hero, Tesla. I love Nikola Tesla. He was such an amazing dude. He really changed everything. I mean, if you think, usually I think about like all those innovations that happens today, how many of them will stick with us for decades, and it's very difficult to predict. But no one can deny that channeling electricity is something that just moved the human race to a different position. That's really a major innovation. No one can compare. Even cell phones can compare to that. Like electricity was the seed to everything that is done today. And I don't know what we are doing today, which could be the seed of the next 50 to 100 years. I don't see that today. They say artificial intelligence could be one of them. I don't know. I'm still a little bit skeptical there. There are some promising signs that we can do crazy stuff there, but that's something which we really don't even understand. And I think the hype around that area is bigger than the actual results. Anyway, these were my thoughts about stop glorifying faces and try to understand the context, even though if it's difficult. Just open up and understand the details of that achievement. That's something you can learn from instead of just putting people up to the pedestal and say hail to the king. Well, we shouldn't do that. Okay guys, that's it for today. Thank you for watching. Sendai out.